Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Josh, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Navy Federal Go Rewards credit card. So I'll be going over the main features of this card, its pros as well as its drawbacks. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a much better idea of whether or not this credit card is a good fit for you. But before we go ahead and dive into the main features of this card, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $10,000 in free stocks, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Moomoo. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then deposit at least $100. At that point, Moomoo will be sending you at least 5 free stocks worth all the way up to $10,000. Okay, so diving right into the main features of the Navy Federal Go Rewards credit card. First off, we're going to be talking about points and how you can earn them with this card. So starting out, you will be earning 3 points per dollar spent while at restaurants on both dining in and takeout. You'll also be earning 2 points per dollar spent on gas transactions. And then on all other transactions outside of those categories, you will be earning just 1 point per dollar spent. Now with this card, unfortunately, there is no spend bonus. So with some other credit cards out there on the market, you might see offers where you have to spend, let's say, like $1,000 within the first 3 months. And if you do so, in return, you will be receiving a spend bonus of $200. Unfortunately, at this time, this credit card does not offer any type of incentive in the form of a spend bonus. However, as far as redeeming your cash back goes, that is with each transaction that you make, earning the points, how to redeem this, you will have a few different options. So you can redeem it for cash, travel, gift cards, and merchandise. Also, you're going to have the benefit that your rewards do not expire, so you don't have to be in any rush to redeem them. You can save them up and redeem them whenever you want, and they also don't have any sort of cap either, so you can spend as much as you want with this card, and you're not going to hit a cap with your spend as far as earning the rewards go. Now with this card, there's also going to be some other perks with it as well. So these features are going to include 24/7 access to Navy Federal stateside member service reps. With this card, there are also not going to be any balance transfer or foreign transaction fees. You're also going to have the ability to freeze and unfreeze your credit cards whenever you want. So perhaps if you lose your credit card, it falls out of your wallet, you can go into the app or online and go ahead and freeze your credit card. That way, if someone picks it up and tries to use it, they won't be able to do so. And then whenever you find your credit card, whether it be like hidden beneath your couch cushion or something like that, then you can go ahead and unfreeze your credit card at that point in time. And if you can't find it, then obviously you can call into Navy Federal, let them know that you lost your card. They'll change your card number and go ahead and send you a new one. Then on top of that, they're also going to be able to take advantage of their zero fraud liability policy. So once again, if you lose your credit card and someone does pick it up and spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars with it, thankfully you will not be held liable to pay for those transactions because you did not authorize them. Also, you can receive fraud notifications to your email as well as your phone, and then you're also going to have access to your credit score, which obviously is going to be helpful if that's something that you're wanting to build or at least maintain at this point in time. Okay, so now that we went over the main features of the Navy Federal Go Rewards credit card, at this point in time we are going to go ahead and dive into the APR and fees, because of course this is also super important as well. So starting out, your purchase APR is going to have an introductory offer of 0.99% for the first 6 months. Then after that, it is going to balance all the way up to 14.24 to 18% based on your credit worthiness. Then as far as cash advances go, on this channel, we usually recommend to stay far away from cash advances. This, of course, should not be considered financial advice, just my own personal reasons. Usually with them, you have to pay a pretty high interest rate plus a lot of fees as well. Now, I will say with Navy Federal, it is going to be a good bit less than with other credit cards out there in the market. So you still have to pay pretty high interest on them, plus some fees, but not nearly as high as what you see with some of the other credit cards out there on the market. So as far as the APR goes on the cash advances, it is going to be just 2% above your variable APR on as far as purchases go. So if your variable APR for purchases is 18%, for cash advances, it will be 20%. Then as far as fees go, as far as the annual fee goes, thankfully there is no annual fee with this credit card. So year to year, you can keep this credit card. You don't have to pay anything for it. This is obviously a good thing because, for instance, if you had to pay like $95 for your annual fee like you do with other credit cards out there on the market, you might have to evaluate every single year the benefits that you're receiving with this card and whether or not it's worth paying like $95 for, because again, this credit card does not have an annual fee, so you don't really have to worry about that. However, if you happen to have a late or return payment, there is going to be a fee on those of up to $20, but as long as you don't have a late or return payment, just make sure that you do pay on time, whether you set up auto pay, mark your calendars, do whatever you have to do, just make sure that you are paying on time. That way you can avoid paying that $20 late fee. Now, if you do pay late for the first time, perhaps even the second time, you could always try calling in to see if they will waive that fee. Of course, there is no guarantee, but mistakes do happen. And if that mistake does happen and you do get hit with that $20 late payment fee, you could always try calling in to see if they will waive it. Now, as far as foreign transaction fees go, thankfully with this card, there are no foreign transaction fees. So it is a card that you can travel abroad with and take with you, and you won't be charged an extra fee like you are with some of the other credit cards out there on the market, where you can normally perhaps see a fee of right around 3%. So obviously it's a pretty good thing with this credit card. Then as far as the fees go on the cash advances, even though you will pay an interest rate on your cash advances, the fees are going to be much lower than what you see with other credit cards out there on the market, where they could be like $10 or 5% of the amount of each transaction, whichever happens to be greater. With this card, your cash advance fee is actually going to be none if it's performed at a Navy Federal branch. Otherwise, it's going to be 50 cents per domestic transaction or $1 per foreign transaction. So as you can see, not nearly as bad with some of the other credit cards out there in the market, but obviously it's still not going to be free and you still have to pay interest on your cash advance. So now that we went over the main features of this card as well as the APR and fees, at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and dive into what I would consider to be the best things about this credit card and the worst things about this credit card. So we're going to start out with the good things. So the first good thing of this credit card is the fact that you will be earning 3 points per dollar spent at restaurants, both dining in and takeout, and then 2 points per dollar spent on gas. So on both those categories, you can rack up quite a bit of points in cash back with this card. Also with this card, there is no annual fee, so that's definitely a good thing. You don't have to pay anything for it. That's obviously a positive. And then finally, there are no foreign transaction fees with this card. So if you do travel internationally, it is a card that you can take with you and you won't be charged anything extra on top of what you're already spending. So those are the best things about this credit card. Now we're going to go ahead and dive into the worst things, or what I would consider at least, in my opinion. So the number one thing on my list is the fact that this card at the moment does not issue any type of spend bonus. It would be great if they offered at least some type of spend bonus, even if it was just as low as like $100 or $200. Normally, most credit cards out there in the market will offer at least $200 if you spend at least $1,000 within the first 30 days or within the first 3 months of having the credit card. With this card, unfortunately, there is no spend bonus at this point in time. Also, on all other transactions outside the restaurant and gasoline categories, you will only be receiving 1 point per dollar spent, which is quite a bit on the low end. With this card, you might just want to use it on gas and restaurant categories, and then all other transactions you might want to use another credit card. And then finally, I guess if you wanted to be super picky, you could say that the introductory APR on purchases is only 0.99% instead of 0%, and it's only for 6 months instead of like 12 to 18 months. With some of the other credit cards out there in the market right now, you can get a 0% introductory APR all the way up to like 15 to 18 months. Whereas with this card, it's not even 0%. I'm not even sure why they went 0.99%. They should have at least went to 0%. 0.99% is a really weird number to me. It's sort of like a teaser in a way, where we're going to charge some interest, but it's still going to be super low. So it is a little bit of a weird number to me. So I guess that would be the only other drawback as well. But just to sum this card up, all in all, this is a credit card I probably would not recommend. Even though there is no annual fee and you can earn 3 points per dollar spent at restaurants and 2 points per dollar spent on gasoline transactions, they don't offer a spend bonus. And all in all, the cashback or points that they offer are really not enticing enough to sign up for this credit card. But again, that's just my opinion, and it's going to be totally up to you on whether or not you decide this card is right for your personal lifestyle. But that's all we have for today's review. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.